Hey everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you more proof that Rachel Amber has powers, and I also want to be talking about some cut content that was from episode 3. Now, this theory video is actually inspired from Rachel the animator, who gave me some more information. And I'm also working on another theory video I want to get. I'm trying to get it up to 40 minutes. So far I got it up to 20. So this theory video is just focusing more on what he said. So he or she is giving me more information about the theory. So uh, so here we go. When this is what they put, by the way. When you're in Frank's RV in episode 2 in Before the Storm, you can hear IK the radio people talking about how the fire was acting in an unusual way. Chris Palm, community manager in Square Enix, said there will be no superpowers, but there will be supernatural elements in the game. However, on the other hand, he was implying this just to Chloe. Dave, the developers, don't want to tell us, but they want us to discover. Also, there was a deleted scene in Before the Storm that confirms Sarah was supernatural. She apparently had something to do with the Ravens and Chloe's dreams. This could mean that Rachel could have gotten her supernatural abilities from Sarah, but in a different form. Moreover, if the scene where Rachel screams and the fire is spreading so fast, and the diner scene in which the fire and the candles were growing higher are only there just for dramatic purposes to underline her desperation, that doesn't explain how the fire just extinguished by itself the moment Rachel got stabbed, and all the fire references throughout the whole game, like on the television, newspapers, radio, and even how Chloe reacts to Rachel screaming. In conclusion, the power or ability Rachel Amber has is probably pyrokinesis, which is a purported psychic ability, allowing a person to create and control fire with the mind. Maybe Rachel isn't aware of her power/ability, which could explain why she didn't tell Chloe, and Chloe not telling Max, and can't even control them. It may be triggered when her emotions get the best of her. Here is a topic written by a Steam user with the name of Metal Paradox Supernatural Aspect of Rachel Amber. When I watched the scene where Rachel starts the forest fire, I couldn't help but wonder if she was using some kind of special ability to do this. It was as if she screamed and the fire spread out in some kind of unnatural way. You can even find a news report spoken on TV saying the fire is behaving in unexplained ways that no one has ever seen before. Is Rachel controlling the fire subconsciously? Is she a closeted pyrokinetic, like how Max is a time traveler? I swear, in that final scene when Rachel loses at the dinner table, I was convinced I was going to I was convinced the was going to set the place on fire. Shouldn't it be she was, not the was? I was convinced she was going to set the place on fire, not the was going to place. No criticism. No criticism here, Rachel the animator. The camera just focused on those candles, and I was so sure something was going to happen. Not to mention all the fire-related foreshadowing everywhere in the game. I personally think that Rachel doesn't have time to even think about it. Maybe she can't control them. Also, they may only work with what emotions she is in or what state she is in. Deck 9 Games put in little hints and details only a few people can spot in Before the Storm that proves Rachel is supernatural. All of the cut content from episode 3 of Before the Storm with proof that it is not a troll. So I'm just going to head over to this link, which I'll leave in the description below, and you all can check it out for yourself. It's just all the cut content and leaked content for episode 3. What I mean is, it was leaked before episode 3 got out, and I actually had to read through it, and most of the stuff was correct that was leaked, but it did get cut. Now, Rachel not knowing about her powers, I do believe that, because Daniel didn't know about his powers. He couldn't even remember killing the cop. He didn't know what happened when that stone owner clerk got him, and he used his powers in the store or the gas station, I guess. You know, when that guy kidnaps Sean, has him tied up. So basically, like, I guess you could say, like, people could have powers, but they're using them on an unconscious level. Because I'm pretty sure I've read comics. Yeah, I've read comics. Sorry, I've read comics, and I've seen little stories and that where people do have these powers, but they don't realize that they have powers until later on. Like, I don't know if you knew this, but in X-Men, the movies, Charles Xavier, he got his powers when he was 9, and he thought he was going crazy because he kept hearing people's voices. He thought it was in his own head, and it wasn't until he was 12 that he realized he could read people's minds. So he was going on 3 years thinking he was crazy as a child. And what else is there? The fire stuff does make sense because I've seen YouTube videos react to episodes 2's ending, and I'm pretty sure PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, and Markiplier all thought that Rachel was going to do something with the candles. I'm pretty sure one of them, if not all, was like, oh yeah, she's definitely going to do something with the candles. It's going to be fire because there's too much fire related themes for it to not for her not to have a connection to fire. And that thing about Rachel's mother, Sarah, that raises another interesting point because, as we know, powers, as we've seen so far, are linked to a traumatic event. When you experience something traumatic, then you get your powers like that. You know, it's like, now, if Sarah having powers, that's interesting, which means the powers can also be passed on genetically. While it's not the same power, a power gets passed on. Alright, so I'm gonna have a read of this leaked content here. Just basically, what the hell's going on with this screen? Oh, it's gotten a little short. Damn it. Hold on. God damn it, what's the zoom button? Alright, here we go. Alright, so for the past couple months, leaks about Episode 3's development have been coming from two different people who knew beta testers that got to play early drafts of the game. They cut so much stuff, and I'm 99% sure the leaks were real and not a troll because they got so many details right and knew things like what days information was going to be announced and what songs would play in what parts. A lot of the stuff they said would happen did happen. According to them, Deck 9 cut the best parts of the episode. 1. There was a scene with Steph where Chloe would talk about Rachel. 2. Chloe would tell Steph she was realizing that she was a lesbian and supposedly she was going to be very explicit in her language here. No, I don't know. I think I might like girls. No labels though. Sorry about that. Chloe and Steph were going to hug. And if any of you don't remember, Steph is in episode 1. Son of a bitch, what's with my throat? Sorry about that. Steph was in episode 1. She's also, I believe, in episode 2 and episode 3. You can play Dungeons and Dragons with her and Mikey. And she actually did have a crush on Rachel Amber. And I remember she was asking Chloe, she was like, Chloe, do you know if Rachel's with anyone or seeing anyone? So here we go. 4, there were multiple kisses. Now I assume this is from Chloe and Max, basically, because when Chloe and Max kiss in episode 2, it depends. If in episode 1 you said told Rachel that you liked her more than a friend, then when you chose to kiss her in episode 2, it'd be like 5 or 6 kisses. But if you told her she's a friend and then you wanted to kiss her, you'd only get 1 kiss, I believe. Okay, there was an implied sex scene. And you know what? I'm just gonna say it. Like, I in my canon, like I consider this 100% canon. Rachel and Chloe hooked up, even though like Rachel is a goddamn, harlot. Like the Rachel in the Waves comic, like she's alright. Like we haven't seen anything negative about her yet, but she seems on the straight and narrow path. But the Rachel in the games, she's a fucking bitch. She's a lying, manipulative whore. Okay, but if you're into that, okay, that's what you want to. But yeah, I do believe that I also believe that Chloe and Rachel might have had sex. I do believe that they hooked up. Okay, 6. Even though I don't want to believe it, sadly I do. 6. The bedroom scene was longer, and you could talk to Rachel about running away. There may have been a morning scene where you could change into Rachel's clothes at her house. Now, what this means is, if you remember the beginning of episode 3, Rachel finds out that her mom, Rose, isn't her real mom. And then she goes upstairs and she's lying on the bed, and you go up there and you gotta try and cheer her up. Now, as we all know, like, basically, Chloe ends up going home, after that scene, and she sneaks into the house, and then, there's David and Joyce there. She tries to sneak into the house through the front door, but ends up, no, not through the front door, no, she snuck through the window, and then she tries to leave out the front door, but gets caught. Okay, so, what do you call it? 8. Rachel initially wasn't supposed to get hurt because Sarah would save her. I can see that happening. Sarah and Rachel would actually speak because they have no speaking lines. You can get Rachel and Sarah to meet at the end of Before the Storm episode 3. You can, but they never speak. They just hug. 10. Sarah was confirmed supernatural. She apparently had something to do with the crows and Chloe's dreams. Now that right there is something interesting. Like, because if we all know the crows, in each one of Chloe's dreams there was always the crows, and the fact that Sarah had something to do with the crows, excuse me, maybe she in the dream was William, and she could read Chloe's thoughts and was basically talking to her and letting her know, and like, but trying to make her keep Rachel safe, basically. But as you know, since this stuff is cut, it's not part of the game, so it's not canon. But yeah, if Sarah was confirmed supernatural, then that would basically 100% confirm that Rachel is supernatural too. But since it's not canon, like, I still believe Rachel 100% is a pyrokinesis. But this would have been a nice touch too, because, like I said before, we've only seen people with powers who get powers from a traumatic experience, not inherited through genes from a parent, which is sad. 11. There was a choice where Sarah wanted Rachel to come back to California with her, and Chloe could be for it or ask Rachel to stay in Arcadia. Shit happened afterward, and Rachel would always end up staying though. Yeah, well, look what good that did. She ended up dead. Sarah knew about Chloe and Rachel's relationship. Yeah, again, because I believe that she was stalking them. Like with the crows, maybe she can control crows not just in Chloe's dreams, but in real life. And she's using the crows to watch Chloe and Rachel. That wouldn't be too far-fetched. Like the eagle vision, she can see through the eagle's eyes. Okay. Rachel was going to kick Elliot's ass when he got creepy on Chloe. That I would have loved to see. I cannot believe that got cut. 14. Rachel was going to be there when Chloe got knocked out by Damon. So, knocked out by Damon, what that means is, if you remember, it's towards the very end where you got the money and you got to hand it off to Damon. This is where he has Sarah, because Rachel's dad, wanted Damon to get Sarah hooked back on drugs. So, she wouldn't be a fit parent because she wanted to meet Rachel, but James, I think his name was James, he was hiding all the letters she was sending to Rachel. So yeah, that would be pretty interesting, and then you find that would have been cool to find out that about how he was hired by Rachel's dad to keep Sarah out of her life. But I'm glad that's cut, because I really think it's more of an impact. She's more angry when you tell her the truth. That's pretty cool. Here we go. It was going to be Rachel's idea for Chloe to dye her hair. And, yeah, I can see that. Rachel was going to be with Chloe when she dyed her hair. I can see that also. And that would be pretty cool. Rachel was going to meet Joyce and David and defend Chloe against David. This may have been dependent on if you've pissed off David. What I take from this is, when he shows you the photo of his friend, how he died, and you can just say like the last person that ever talk about my dad to is you. And she's like, you're out of your fucking mind. He's like, you disrespectful little shit. Yeah, and then Joyce has to break it up. So yeah, I do believe like think in episode 3 when Chloe's this is after you get out of Blackwell after the swimming pool when you stay at Joyce's house. This is when David's arguing with Chloe and you can side with David or Chloe. Just imagine that kind of situation. Okay. 18. Max was originally in the play dream sequence. You know, the dream sequence where where Chloe is with William in the car, and then William hits by the truck, and we hear Victoria go boo. Yeah, fucking boo on her. Yeah, joke's on you. You either get overdosed by Jefferson, or the tornado kills you. In any of those two walkthroughs, you're dead. Yeah, such a bitch she is. 19. Max was going to be mentioned in the epilogue. Now, I would have loved to see that. Like, why couldn't, like, we could get a little glimpse of Max in Seattle with Fernando and Kirsten, the two friends she made. I would have loved to see that. Drew, Mikey, and Steph had more plot around their involvement with Damon. Now, that's a shame that got cut because, as we all know, Drew's the older brother of Mikey, and he borrowed some money off Damon, and he needed to give it to his dad to basically to help, because when Sean Prescott shut down the fishing markets, what were they called? You know what I mean, like the fishing places. When he did that, a lot of people lost their jobs and went bankrupt. 21. Supposedly, even in the Just Friends path, Chloe said something that implied she had romantic feelings for Rachel in the ending. Yeah, like I said, I believe it's canonical that Chloe and Rachel get together. 22. There was supposed to be a lot of really cute dialogue in the epilogue scenes. You can honestly tell this is true because they went through the trouble of animating the characters talking, and it looks like the dialogue just never got put in. Like that's, when Chloe's dyeing her hair, and then you see her and Rachel at the junkyard, and Rachel's got her tattoo on her leg, and then you can actually see them talking, but you can't hear what they're saying. That's a shame. There was a kiss at the end, depending on intimacy. Okay, then I would have loved to see that too. Why'd they get rid of that? 24. There were 6 variations on the endings, 3 for each, I believe, and I believe this had to do with your intimacy counter with Rachel. Where are these 6 various endings in Life is Strange 1? And 3 for each, depending on your intimacy counter with Chloe. What? Where was that in Life is Strange 1? All endings were meant to be happy. No mention of the dark room being shown at the end. Well, I'm glad we got to see the dark room at the end. Like, maybe when we get a Life is Strange 2, if it continues with Rachel's story in that more, maybe we can see a bit more of a dark room. And basically, it's like putting together a little story. Because we all know, I'm pretty sure everyone who's played Life is Strange knows that Nathan accidentally kills Rachel by overdosing her of the drug Jefferson uses to put his subjects in a sort of daze, like an in and out like coma type thing. I don't know. Like, I don't know what it's called. The information came from beta testers, which means that Deck 9 had all this content. They wrote it and they voiced it and they animated it. It's not like they cut it because it was too much to do. They literally did it and then just threw it away. At least that's my understanding. I'm so baffled right now. Even if the beta testers were somehow lying and coincidentally managed to get insanely weird details correct, their fake episode 3 was better than the real one, and I'm pretending this is the version we actually got. So, anyways, that's really all there is to this theory. Thank Rachel the animator in the comments because he or she did it. So he or she told me about this, and now I'm telling you people. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, but before you do, there is one more thing actually. I actually saw this there's this YouTube video that you should be seeing right now. It's not mine. It's from it's from a YouTube channel called SBEL or Sebel. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's called A Normal Life. Life is Strange. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below, and honestly, it just looks so amazing. Like, I don't want to fully upload this video onto my channel because I don't want to get in trouble, because my other Life is Strange videos, they're all mine. Like the ones you're seeing, the ones you saw at the beginning of this video, in the middle and towards the end, they're mine. But this one with the cool looking Chloe and Max, it's not mine. So anyways, that's all I have to say. If you all enjoyed this video, I'll see you in the next one. This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off.